Welcome back. So in previous lecture we have finished the introductory type of that various techniques, and also we have seen in details the normal poles and differential poles technique. So now we are next we are uh, dealing with some chrono techniques. Okay, chrono techniques. So one is the chrono amperometry and one is the chrono potentiometry. Okay, so the chrono potentiometry, first technique is the chronopotentiometry. So chronopotentiometry, which uses the measurement and interpretation of EMF against time. Okay, so the measurement of EMF against time curve. The experiment is carried out by applying the controlled current between the working and auxiliary electrode with the galvanic system. Okay, so the controlled current is applied between the working and the auxiliary electrode with the galvanostatic system. The resulting chronopotentiogram, which showing the variation of potential as a function of time, can be used for the variety of analytical application. Okay, so as the name is suggesting, like in chronopotentiometry, we are going to apply the certain amount of current and we will measure the potential as a function of time. Okay, as a function of time. So the resulting chronopotentiogram will shows the variation in the potential as a function of time. Okay, the below figure will shows the chronopotentiogram for the simple electrode process, that is like one species get reduced to the another species. So we are having the this half wave potential. Okay, various parameters are there: half wave potential, half life, and all these things are given. Okay, lifetime of that particular wave. So before the constant current electrolysis will begin, the solution will containing only A, and it has relatively oxidizable potential. Okay, so as soon as that particular reduction potential has been occurred, the electrolysis is initiated by the application of some current. Okay, so some A is get reduced to the B at particular potential. Okay, so some A is get reduced to the B, so some A will be get reduced or starting to reduce to B at this point. So once that reduction has been started, the working electrode potential becomes more reduction or the negative reducing type. If the electrode process is reversible, then the potential of working electrode will be given by this Nernst equation. Okay, so for the calculation of our potential we will use this Nernst equation. Okay, so here we are using the Nernst equation. So various terms are like well known, this RT and F, all these things are. So N is the number of electrons, F is the Faraday's constant, and C and CB are the concentration of that two particular species. Okay, reduced state and oxidized state. So the potential, so the potential changes only shows with the time duration. The okay, so the potential changes only shows with the time duration. The period that the ratio of this is become close to 1, so the log of this will become 0, so the E value become E0 equal E value, or the EMF of cell is become the standard EMF of that particular electrode. Okay, so we will be like much more interested for the E naught value. Okay, because E naught value will be the characteristic for that particular element, and also this E1 half is also the characteristic for the particular element in particular oxidation state. Okay, so these two values are quite specific, so we are much more interested in that for the elemental analysis. Okay, so the decreasing to the point where the okay, so certain we are using this. Okay, Okay, so decreasing to the point where there is a insufficient A, so that all the A which will near to the electrode will get reduced first, so we will get certain constant current. Okay, so as A is diffuses toward the electrode surface, the concentration of that A will start to decrease near the electrode surface, and one point is there that ultimately the concentration near the electrode surface will down towards the negligible value, and hence the current will force the electrode to the potential at which different reaction which can occur. Okay, so like since the reduction is taking place, so all the A near the electrode surface, once it gets started reduce, so the point will occur where the reduction of A will completely takes place, and the concentration near the electrode will become negligible. Okay, so at this stage we will get the rapid change in the potential. So the time from the start of the electrolysis until the rapid potential change is designed, the transition time is nothing but our, okay, tau, this time. So under this condition of the linear diffusion in an unstirred solution, the transition time tau, which is given by the Sand equation. Okay, Sand equation, so there are the famous equation, Sand equation and Taft equation. So one is the Sand equation. So this lifetime is directly proportional to the various constant, like pi is constant, number of electron, Farad is constant, A is the area, D is the diffusion coefficient, Ca is the concentration, and I is the current. Okay, so I is the constant current in the ampere. So for analytical chemist, the two feature that can be useful, that is half lifetime, which is proportional to what, concentration. So we can calculate the concentration, that is the quantitative analysis, and this parameter is being independent of the electrode. So according to the Davis, the chronopotentiometry is not as useful as that of the DC polarography. The concentration range that can be measured did not extend below the 10 raised to minus 4 molar. That we have seen this for the differential pulse polarography, we can measure the elements or the concentration up to around 10 raised to minus 6 molar. Okay, so the if the better accuracy than the, so it is less accurate than that of the our differential pulse polarography. So what are the various disadvantage of this technique are, so the results which are measured are incorrect except in the favorable circumstances. The reproducibility of measurement is quite poor, and extraordinarily the large influence of the contaminant is observed, and the disturbing effect of the capacitive currents. Okay, or the charging current. So these are the certain disadvantages for our this chrono amperometry. Okay, sorry, chronopotentiometry. Okay, so the next technique is the chronoamperometry. Okay, so as the name suggests, chrono means our time. Okay, so with respect to time we are going to measure the current. Okay, so the current is measured with respect to time. Okay, so output signal will be the current versus time. So the current is determined with respect to time. So in chronoamperometry experiment we measure the current as a function of time. So it is usual to commence with the solution around the electrode containing only one redox form of that particular analyte. So for example, consider the thallium ion. The potential of working electrode will be stepped from a potential at which only thallium plus ion are stable to form a thallium plus 3. Okay, so basically here the oxidation will takes place. So the stable form of thallium will be in the plus 3 oxidation state. So the input signal for this chronoamperometric technique is again potential as a function of time, and the output is the current versus time. Okay, so initially the potential is kept constant, and at particular time instant the potential is increased suddenly, and again it will be kept constant. Okay, so once we have reached to the point where we have applied the potential suddenly, the the instant at which this potential is increased, we get the sharp increase in the current. Okay, so the figure A, which shows the potential input against the time. So rise in potential here is essentially vertically, means we are rapidly increasing this potential. The potential before this step is 0. It is well cathodic or negative for the thallium. So for thallium it is minus 1.252. So thallium plus is only stable in the redox form, and once this sudden potential will occur, that is around 1.6 volt, it is well anodic. It is well anodic. So the so at that potential, that is around 1.6 volt, we get only thallium 3 plus in the stable form. Okay, so based upon the external potential that we have applied at about 1.252 volt, we get only thallium plus 1 in the stable form, and if the potential is maintained at about 1.6 volt, we get only thallium 3 plus as the stable state. Okay, so figure B will shows the trace of current against the time in response to the potential step. Okay, so this is the input signal and this is the output signal for the this chronoamperometric technique. So as long as that few thousands of the second or the millisecond, the time between the potential step and the maxima is known as the rise time. The current will trails off smoothly after the rise time is and eventually it will reaches to the 0. So such a time interval, which is often termed as the transient time interval, so as to emphasize their pronouns into the time dependence. Okay, time dependence output. So this technique, that is chronoamperometry and chronopotentiometry, differ in their input and output signals. Okay, so we have been left with only the cyclic voltammetry and the means all the voltammetric techniques. Okay.